These are 10 stupidly expensive things Diddy owns that are currently collecting dust. And first up is a waterfront fortress so lavish, it makes Escobar's hacienda look like a crack den. And if you stick around till the end, you'll see the insane stash of ice his sons are probably still hoping to get their hands on. You see, when your Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Sean Combs, whatever name he's rolling with when the feds aren't knocking, you don't just buy a house, you acquire a sovereign nation. We're talking about his Star Island super mansion in Miami, a compound so ridiculously opulent it's probably got its own zip code and a non-extradition treaty. This ain't just a crib, chief, it's a statement. Originally copped for a cool $35 million for one part, then he snagged Gloria Estefan's neighboring pad for another 35 mil to make it a mega plot. We're talking multiple structures sprawling across prime waterfront with views that'll make your eyeballs ache with envy. Think private docks big enough to park a small navy, infinity pools that stretch into the damn ocean, movie theaters where the seats probably cost more than your car, and enough marble to rebuild the Taj Mahal twice over. Security on this joint? Tighter than Fort Knox after a gold shipment. But here's the kicker. After those highly publicized federal raids in early 2024, this palace, it's likely feeling less like a home and more like a gilded cage.
Properties owned by musician and producer Sean Diddy Combs.
All those rooms, all that luxury, now probably echoing with the ghosts of parties past and the whispers of lawyers on conference calls. The sun might be shining on Miami, but there's a long shadow over Star Island. That 70 million plus masterpiece of excess, collecting dust and bad vibes, my friend. And if one coastal compound under a dark cloud wasn't enough, let's jet over to the West Coast where another monument to Diddy's former glory is sitting eerily quiet. We're talking about the Holmby Hills mega mansion in Los Angeles, a sprawling estate he snagged for a reported $40 million back in 2014. This ain't your average LA McMansion. This is where billionaires go to feel humble. 8 bedrooms, 11 bathrooms, spread over 17,000 square feet of pure, unadulterated, I'm richer than you architecture. It's got a lagoon-style pool complete with a damn grotto, because why not? An underwater swimming tunnel, seriously? A 35-seat movie theater for private screenings of, well, who knows what these days? There's a wine cellar, a gym that would make Equinox blush, and probably a panic room lined with platinum. This was the spot for those legendary star-studded parties, the kind where the champagne flowed like water and the guest list read like the Fortune 500 mixed with the Grammys.
Black music has never been respected by the Grammys to the point that it should be.
But guess what? This palace also got a visit from Uncle Sam's finest. Imagine the scene. Federal agents swarming through rooms once filled with A-listers, sifting through the remnants of a dynasty. Now, instead of popping bottles, the only things popping are probably evidence seals. That $40 million castle, once a symbol of untouchable power, now it's just another sprawling exhibit in the Museum of Diddy's Problems. Its manicured lawns and pristine pools collecting a thick layer of scandal-infused dust. Next up, let's talk about how a man who built an empire on moving crowds and making noise used to move himself. In a flying testament to his own ego, the Gulfstream G550, affectionately dubbed Air Combs. When you're worth billions, or at least you were, you don't fly commercial. You don't even fly first class. You buy a damn $60 million jet and then spend another few mil tricking it out, so it's basically a penthouse at 40,000 feet. We're talking custom leather seats, probably monogrammed with PD and diamonds. A full bar stocked with his own Ciroc, awkward.
Come out and play.
A master suite bigger than most New York apartments, and cutting-edge avionics that could probably guide a mission to Mars. This wasn't just transportation, it was a power move, a way to hop from LA to New York to Paris without ever having to see the inside of an airport terminal. Deals were probably closed on this thing, careers made and broken. But in 2024, with feds tracking his movements and his empire under a microscope, Aircombs suddenly became a very expensive, very conspicuous liability. Reports surfaced of the jet being tracked, its tail number becoming as infamous as its owner. Can you imagine the insurance on that thing? The upkeep, the pilot's salaries, all for a bird that's likely grounded, its luxurious interiors now just a silent, pressurized tomb collecting dust on some forgotten rotten tarmac, a potent symbol of a mogul whose wings have been seriously clipped. Still watching without subscribing? Bold move, my friend, bolder than wearing a fur coat in July. Click that like button before your Wi-Fi bill starts looking like Diddy's legal fees. Subscribe now, and maybe your next microwave meal will come with a side of beluga caviar, because if Diddy's empire can get this shaken, your algorithm preferences are small potatoes. Show some love. Alright, back to the inventory of idleness. If air combs represented freedom in the skies, then Diddy's super yacht was his floating kingdom on the 7 seas. While he's been associated with a few, let's consider a vessel like the Mariah, a 177-foot behemoth valued at around $65 million, or something even more custom and ostentatious in the $80 to $100 million ballpark, because let's face it, subtlety was never his strong suit. These aren't just boats, they're mobile islands of pure decadence. We're talking multiple decks, a helipad for when the G550 could still make a rendezvous,
All black crew, greatest pilots in the world.
a cinema, a gym, a jacuzzi big enough to host a small village, and a crew of probably 10 to 15 people just to keep the damn thing afloat and polished. Imagine the parties, Saint-Tropez, Ibiza, Monaco, with supermodels draped over every railing and billionaires flown in for a casual Tuesday. The champagne budget alone could probably fund a small country. But now, with travel restrictions, legal battles, and a reputation taking on more water than the Titanic, that floating palace is likely docked and desolate. No champagne wishes and caviar dreams, just the gentle lapping of waves against a very expensive, very empty hull. The teak decks, once gleaming under the Mediterranean sun, are probably just collecting seagull droppings and a thick film of salty, scandal-ridden dust. The only things being served on board are probably subpoenas. Now, let's talk cars, because a man like Diddy doesn't just have a car, he has a fleet of four-wheeled ego extensions worth well over $10 million. We're not talking about your sensible Toyota Camry here. We're talking about a garage that looks like a damn auto show for the obscenely wealthy. Multiple Rolls Royces, of course. Phantoms, Cullinans, probably a Dawn or two, each customized to within an inch of its life with bespoke interiors and sound systems that could shatter glass. Then there are the Ferraris, the Lamborghinis for when he felt the need for speed and attention. And let's not forget the Maybachs, the ultimate symbol of I've made it and you haven't. He was famously gifted a $360,000 Maybach by his son Justin, and he himself bought a $400,000 Maybach limousine for his other son, King Combs. He even reportedly owned one of the only Maybach Excelero coupes, a one-off beast that cost a reported $8 million. Imagine that collection, rows of gleaming metal, engines itching to roar, leather interior still smelling of money and ambition. But where are they going now? The driveways of his raided mansions are probably cordoned off with police tape. No victory laps down Rodeo Drive, no cruising through Times Square with the top down. These garage queens, these symbols of ultimate automotive achievement, are now just stationary sculptures, their expensive tires slowly deflating, their flawless paint jobs gathering a fine layer of undisputed dust, each one a silent testament to a life lived in the fast lane, now stuck in a very public traffic jam. But Diddy didn't just invest in things that go fast, he invested in things that last, or at least things he thought would outlast him. We're talking about his multi-million-dollar art collection, a stash of cultural currency that would make most museum curators weep with envy. This wasn't just stuff to hang on the walls, this was serious investment-grade art. We're talking pieces by titans like Jean-Michel Basquiat, whose work Diddy famously paid over $4.5 million for decades ago, now worth exponentially more. He's also known to own works by Andy Warhol, Keith Haring, and contemporary masters like Kerry James Marshall, whose painting Past Times he reportedly snagged for a cool $21.1 million. This collection, easily valued in the hundreds of millions of dollars, wasn't just about flexing, it was about legacy, about aligning himself with artistic genius. These pieces adorned the walls of his mansions, silent witnesses to the deals, the parties, the rise of an empire. But now, are they still hanging there, in those raided, empty homes, their vibrant colors dulled by the gloom of legal proceedings? Or are they locked away in climate-controlled vaults, hidden hidden from public view, their cultural significance overshadowed by their owner's notoriety. Either way, these masterpieces, once symbols of taste and power, are now just very expensive assets caught in the crossfire, their brilliance dimmed, collecting the metaphorical dust of a tarnished legacy. Speaking of legacy, what about the brand that arguably put him on the map as a businessman beyond the music? The Sean John fashion empire. Launched in 1998, Sean John wasn't just a clothing line, it was a cultural phenomenon.
I'm locking in, you know what I'm saying? I'm dialing in right now.
It brought urban fashion to the mainstream, won prestigious CFDA awards, and at its peak was reportedly raking in hundreds of millions of dollars a year.
Thank you very much. Legend.
From velour tracksuits to tailored suits, Sean John defined an era. Diddy eventually sold a majority stake in 2016, but then, in a boss move, bought it back out of bankruptcy in 2021 for a reported $7.5 million, vowing to restore its former glory. He was talking about relaunching, about new visions, about taking the brand to new heights. But then 2024 happened. With a reputation in tatters and legal woes mounting, what happens to Sean John now? The warehouse is filled with inventory, the design sketches for future collections, the flagship stores, if any are even still operating under that banner. They're all likely in limbo. The brand, once a symbol of aspirational black excellence and entrepreneurial hustle, is now inextricably linked to its founder's downfall, the legacy, the designs, the very name.
Especially, celebrating 30 years in music.
All collecting a thick, grimy layer of scandal-induced dust, a once proud lion of fashion now looking more like a moth-eaten rug. Of course, before the fashion, before the Ciroc, there was the music, and at the heart of Diddy's musical empire lies the Bad Boy Records master tapes and publishing catalog. This is the holy grail, the sonic DNA of a generation. We're talking about the masters for the notorious B.I.G.'s entire catalog. Ready to Die, Life After Death, albums that didn't just define hip-hop but transcended it. Then there's May A, Faith Evans, 112, the LOX, Craig Mack, and countless others who passed through Bad Boy's hit factory. The publishing rights alone for these iconic tracks are worth a king's ransom, easily hundreds of millions of dollars, potentially much more depending on how they're valued and exploited. Diddy has always fiercely controlled these assets, the foundation upon which his entire empire was built. But now, with his personal and financial affairs under intense scrutiny, what's the fate of these legendary recordings? Are they locked away in a vault somewhere, their magnetic tapes slowly degrading? Is their ownership structure being picked apart by lawyers? The music itself is timeless, it will always play, but the physical masters, the legal rights, the very essence of Bad Boy's golden era, they're now caught in this legal quagmire, their future uncertain, collecting the heavy, silent dust of a legacy in crisis.
Where are we rushing to? Why are we rushing?
And what about the rivers of booze that helped inflate Diddy's net worth to near billionaire status? We're talking about his lucrative partnerships with Diageo for Ciroc vodka and De Leon tequila. For years, Diddy was the face of Ciroc, turning it from a struggling brand into a nightlife staple, reportedly earning him tens of millions, if not over 100 million annually through profit sharing. He then co-owned De Leon tequila, aiming to replicate that success. These weren't just endorsements. He was deeply involved in the marketing, the branding, the lifestyle. The Ciroc parties were legendary. The De Leon bottles a fixture in every VIP section.
From Harlem to Mexico, I'm from Harlem, from the inner cities.
His stake in these ventures was once valued at close to $1 billion, but in 2023, that lucrative partnership imploded in a firestorm of lawsuits and bitter accusations between Combs and Diageo. Diageo cut ties, effectively turning off one of Diddy's biggest cash faucets. So, what's left of that booze-fueled fortune? The contracts are shredded, the marketing campaigns are dead, the celebratory toasts have fallen silent. Any remaining inventory, any lingering brand association, any ghost holdings from that once mighty spirits empire, they're now just remnants of a bygone party, collecting the bitter dust of broken deals and burnt bridges. The truth is, no inventory of a hip-hop mogul's assets would be complete without diving into the Diamond Mausoleum, his insane jewelry collection. We're talking about a treasure trove of bling so vast and so ostentatious, it would make a pirate king blush. For decades, Diddy has been one of Jacob the jeweler's best customers, commissioning pieces that defy belief, chains thick as anchor ropes, dripping with flawless diamonds the size of small bird eggs.
That he really back, right?
You gonna have to let me know which bracelet you rocking with.
Man, I may rock all.
Watches so encrusted with gems they probably need their own security guards. Think Patek Philippe's and Audemars Piguet's, customized until they're unrecognizable beneath the ice. Rings that could knock a man out. Pendants bigger than your fist. We're talking easily $10 million, $20 million, maybe even more, locked away in safes. These weren't just accessories, they were symbols of power, of status, of having made it on the grandest scale imaginable. He'd rock these pieces on red carpets, in music videos, at lavish parties, each flash of diamond a reminder of his place at the top of the food chain. But now, with the red carpets rolled up, the music videos on hold, and the parties a distant, problematic memory, where does all that ice go? It's likely locked deep within vaults, unseen, unworn, each carat, each perfectly cut stone, now just a cold, hard reminder of a life of unimaginable luxury that's currently on an indefinite and very public hold. That mountain of diamonds, just collecting the dark, silent dust of a fallen icon. And before you go, if you thought that was insane, wait till you see our next deep dive. Ranked 10 things Megan Thee Stallion owns that cost more than your life. From million-dollar rides to bling that could pay off your student loans, we're breaking down every jaw-dropping flex. Hit like, drop a comment letting us know which celebrity vault you want us to crack open next. And subscribe to Jet Black Luxury, where black wealth and its dramatic implosions speaks in gold and whispers louder than clout ever could. Until next time, move smart, flex quiet, or not so quiet if you can still get away with it, and stay legendary. Or at least try not to end up on a list like this.